Ladies and gentlemen, please continue to enjoy your lunch as we begin our program this afternoon, in which today at lunch we will be honoring Esther Benjamin, and we will be introducing the new class of White House Fellows. So to begin with the Impact Award, I want to first ask Priscilla Douglas to come to the stage and remind all of you that you need her new book in your toolkit. So, getting there and staying there, ladies and gentlemen, Priscilla Douglas.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. The Impact Award, this is our second year of having the Impact Award. And the whole intention of this award is to recognize and celebrate the accomplishments of our younger White House Fellow alum. Now, the way that you'll know that you're younger is that most likely you have all your hair, and that it's probably not gray, and that you're within that window of somebody who experienced the program not more than 15 years ago. That's the category. So the Impact Award was put in place to recognize not only remarkable but transformational accomplishment within 10 to 15 years of the Fellows Program. Robert Refkin was our first awardee last year. And we're going to be honoring Esther this year. But let me tell you a little bit, because you probably have someone seated at your table who may be a member of the Impact Award Committee. So I want you to be able to talk to them during lunch about it. On your chair, you have the program, and if you turn to the last page, you will see the list of the members of the Impact Award Committee. And for the ones that are present, I do want them to just quickly stand and give a wave. And that's Scott Burns. That's Jim Padilla. He's giving a wave. And who else is here? Hold on one second. Is Lori Zephyrin here? She's in Esther's class. So we have a great committee, and I tell you, we have a tough choice each year to make. Now, the reason I wanted to point out some of the members of the committee is that I want each one of you to begin to think of younger alum to be able to nominate them next year for this very prestigious award, and talk to the members of the committee and make that recommendation. Let me now tell you about Esther Benjamin. Her family came here from Sri Lanka over 31 years ago. As minority Tamils, they left in the middle of the night carrying suitcases. They came to Chicago. Why? Because Esther's dad is a minister, and they were able to take refuge there in Chicago. Now, this isn't just a typical immigrant story of somebody who's made good. This is a story about somebody through perseverance, courage, and a dedication to make certain that she always kept a perspective of where she came from, to bring that to each and every endeavor. So you can imagine with Esther being a person, not a U.S. citizen, but studying really, really hard. She got accepted to college. on a full ride. That's not easy. And she studied diligently and then was invited to and accepted to American University, where she got on the train from Chicago to Washington, D.C. by herself for the first time. Before she left Chicago, she wrote a mission statement at age 19. I don't know how many of you have done that at age 19. I didn't have a mission statement at age 19, where she was really committed to ensure that she linked whatever she did to make certain that she gave back, to link the resources of the United States to bring them to the world community. That was her vision at age 19. She studied international affairs for her first master's. She stayed on and got a second master's. So it was no surprise that she was then made the graduation speaker at American University. Imagine, she's giving her graduation speech, and the head of international affairs for the United Nations is seated there, and he says to her, "I'd like to hire you." And he did, and she became then the youngest person to serve in a humanitarian role. She became a citizen in 1998, is that correct? And she celebrated her citizenship by getting the White House Fellows application, and she applied the very next year, and she was selected to be a White House Fellow. Please, Esther, please come and join me on the stage. Because Esther Benjamin, we, the White House Fellows community, applaud you for your continued support and mentoring of White House Fellows. In her role at the Peace Corps, she opened the door to White House Fellows and met with class after class. In her work in education, she carries forth the spirit of the White House Fellows. You are a role model. You are someone that we admire, and we salute you for all of your accomplishments, not just to date, but for what we know that you will do in the future. Esther Benjamin, we give you the 2013 Impact Award.
Thank you so much. Of course I would fly 20 hours to be here. This is incredible. Thank you so very much. I'm so humbled to be recognized in this way within the White House Fellows community. I'm truly, truly humbled. Among colleagues and friends I respect so much, among people who mean so much to me professionally and personally. No award or life mission is ever possible without the support of our family and friends. I'm so pleased to acknowledge today that my parents, Dr. Paul Benjamin, my mom, Saroja Benjamin, my uncle Sam Lawrence, who's here from Canada, my sister Ruth, my children Anjali and Shanthan, my close friend Ami Thakkar. I was surprised by other friends who've shown up to support me. Liz Montoya from OPM, the Chief of Staff there, Elisa Montoya from Peace Corps, and Sarah Morgenthau from Peace Corps. Thank you so much for being here. I'm fortunate to have all of you here. My friends and family not only support me, but they are themselves passionate about making a difference in the world. I'm also glad that several of my White House fellow classmates from 1999-2000 are here. It was absolutely a privilege to serve with an extraordinary group of people who continue to do incredible work in their respective fields of work. My classmates have never been more than a phone call or an email away. Now, Jack often describes our community as a community of mutual support. This has certainly been my experience. Current Vice Chair of the White House Fellow Commission, Cheryl Dorsey, you've been a very close colleague, friend, and practically a sister to me. Bruce McNamer, Wes Moore, Lori Zephyrin, Adam Taylor, Mark Hannes, the list goes on and on. So many White House Fellows have been an important part of my life and leadership journey so far. It was also a pleasure during my years of serving in the Obama administration to be a mentor to great people like Samar Ali, Wisdom Powell, and several others during their fellowship year. And I hope that I can continue to assist in that way. During my fellowship year, I was placed at the Department of Labor with Secretary of Labor Alexis Herman. I was assigned to work on international issues. I worked on the Secretary's international priorities. And I'm going to ask if my daughter can bring me some water. I think this really got me choked up. I don't usually get this choked up. So during my fellowship year, I worked on Secretary Alexis Herman's international priorities, including the development and launch of a global program to eliminate child labor. This program continues to carry out important work around the world today. I was a member of the Secretary's team that negotiated with multilateral organizations, business, government, civil society, and labor on global initiatives. My White House fellowship year was definitely a milestone year in my career. As I think back, so many lessons that I learned during my fellowship year have guided me. Lessons in decision-making and management, policy and program development and implementation, building multi-sector alliances, building public and political support, media and communications, and lessons in so many other areas. Over the course of my fellowship year and in subsequent years, Secretary Herman became one of the most important mentors in my life. Nearly 15 years later, she continues to guide me at each stage of my professional life. And in August this year, I also had a chance to spend time with President Clinton on his visit to South Africa. I actually spent the evening with President Clinton and Chelsea Clinton, along with my daughter and my son. Before I began my briefing for the president, I had a chance to personally thank him for the opportunity I had to serve as a White House Fellow in his administration. It was a great moment. I'm confident that it was the White House Fellowship that prepared me and led me to the experiences that followed in my career so far. After the fellowship, I went on to the International Youth Foundation. We worked in over 75 countries on innovative education, employability, health, and leadership programs, working through a global partner network of leading youth development organizations all over the world. We mobilized major funding support from multinational corporations, multilateral development banks, and governments to support our work. At the Peace Corps in the Obama administration, we led the agency through its 50th anniversary. We developed a blueprint for its future. Nearly 8,000 young people continue to serve as Peace Corps volunteers in about 80 countries, and I had a chance as an appointee of President Obama's to lead the global operations of this agency. Absolutely an incredible experience. We launched major initiatives in areas such as food security, malaria prevention, maternal and child health, and even launched a new program for doctors and nurses to serve in Africa. We began new country programs in places like Colombia, Indonesia, Nepal, and Sierra Leone. I have since moved to South Africa with my children. We expect to be there for several years. I'm now working with Laureate, the world's leading higher education company, with 72 universities in 30 countries, with nearly 800,000 students. We expect to approach 1 million students in the Laureate network around the world. We've now launched our first initiative in South Africa, and I'm leading the company's market entry to the continent. As a first step, I'm leading a local university with 4,000 students. We anticipate working in many, many additional countries throughout sub-Saharan Africa. Africa, as many of you know, has one of the world's youngest populations, with 2/3 of the population, or 600 million people, young people under the age of 25. 600 million young people under the age of 25. Since 1980, the number of middle-class Africans has nearly tripled to over 300 million people. Nearly 40% of the continent's population now lives in cities, and increasing numbers of young people in every single one of the countries on the continent is seeking higher educational opportunities, which are so limited. At Laureate, we'll be working to improve young people's access to quality, innovative higher education throughout the region. I have been so fortunate in my life and in my career. Certainly, the White House Fellowship was one of the most significant opportunities. I do believe that to whom much is given, much is expected. I look forward to continuing my work in global development in the years ahead. I have no doubt that the White House Fellows community will continue to be one that inspires me and a community where we continue to support one another. Thank you so much for the award you've presented to me today. I'm deeply, deeply honored, and I'm humbled, and I'm very grateful to all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your support.